This video will show you how to set up and use the Tardy program. So once you have the Simple School Suite installed on your network, you'll go to that folder and make a copy of the front end to any of the desktops you would like to use this program on. So you can right-click and copy and paste to your desktop. But please don't right-click and do a send to desktop, as if you note that creates a shortcut, and that's not what we would like. So once you have the file on your desktop, go ahead and open it. You have the welcome screen, and we certainly do understand how schools work, as we are working currently in them. Note here at the bottom that the student IDs that you can use as test students, numbers 1, 2, and 3, you can use those with your staff for training. Pardon. Under the School tab, this is where you're going to add students and teachers, your school information. Simply click the button. Note that you can add individual students. Probably not necessary if you get your IT department to work with you to get that done routinely. Import your student or your teachers. This one may be useful, as teachers don't come and go as often as students. So if you have somebody come in the mid-semester, just simply add them to the list. Your school information. This information will be used in reports. And finally, your permissions tab. The permissions tab is important because it is how you change the passwords for the admin information. So for the Tardy manager, notice that there are some buttons here that require passwords, all except for the export. These actually have different passwords. So this one, and this one all have the same Tardy manager password. This one obviously is for deletion of tardies, detentions, tutorials, and IDs, and they all have individual passwords. To see those and to change them, you click on the Permissions tab, you enter the password. That password will be given to you in the download information. At this point, you can come in here and change what the password is for the things that we just talked about. Notice that this one is manager, and we will go in and show that now. Just close that up and come on over here. So for the Tardy program, we'll start right here. What happens when a student gets a Tardy? Type in our password. So this list is telling you what happens to a student when they're issued their first Tardy. You have some choices: warning, detention, an office referral without a detention, or an office referral with a detention assigned. And you would go through and choose whatever it is that you want that to happen, on those Tardy numbers. I think we currently come down here through 60, but you can certainly add as many of those as you wish. Simply type in 61 and give it more information. When finished, just close it up. Come over here. This is the message that will print on individual passes. So if it's a warning pass that will be printed, here's the message that you get to type in. You can change that to whatever it is you wish. You can put in your Tardy policy if you wish. Here's your detention pass. And here is the message that prints when they're sent to the office. Down here, we have the feature of having detentions become delinquent if not served after a certain amount of time. So in this case, they only have until the following day to serve their detention before they become delinquent on serving. When you're finished with all this, simply close the form. Down here, you can remove and edit individual detentions and tardies. You'll have to know a student ID, of course. All right, in this case, our student number 1, Bigfoot, has many tardies and a few detentions. Obviously, he failed to serve his, so he's delinquent. At this point, you have the opportunity, if there's an issue with, obviously it looks like he got a great number of them at the same time on the 13th. If it was really only supposed to be one of them, we can delete all those by highlighting and just click delete. Over here, if Bigfoot has now come to serve his detention, he shows up, just click served. And now he is off the hook for his delinquent detention. You can move to the next student. We have Paul Bunyan. He's not doing quite as bad as Bigfoot there, and looks like he's already served his detention without it going delinquent. This will list a number of tardies and detentions, and if that runs out of room, there'll be more spots available. It will also indicate how many. So there's a count here at the bottom, indicating how many are up here at the top. So 2 tardies, 2 records. Once we're finished with whatever it is we wanted to do in here, we can click finished and it'll go back to our main menu. Or again, if you click next student, it'll move on to our next student. This is fairly self-explanatory. Deletion. This button here will export, and we talked about a folder that it will send these to. So you have the option to do that daily, which would be recommended, or at least weekly. Note also that it will save the date that your export was done into that folder. And we can go look at that now, actually. 222. Assuming you set up your folder on the C drive. Here it is here. And note that we have 222 as the time and date for our export. And let's move on to actually adding a tardy. Click on the tardy button. Adding tardy couldn't be easier. Simply type in their ID, or if you have a scanner, scan it in and add a tardy. It looks like Slewfoot is going to be getting her 5th tardy. Or if we click cancel, we had the wrong student, we can enter a different ID number. And here's Bigfoot. Pushing the add tardy button will send a tardy pass directly to the printer. And you can move on, and it'll move on to the next student. Any of those arrow buttons, you can just simply click end. All right, here's the detention. It works exactly the same way as your tardy. All you have to do is enter the number. Wrong student, you can click here. You're going to click this box to add a detention. If you would like to have this detention start on a different date, you can click in the box and pick a date from the calendar. When you're finished, click the finish button. Or if for some reason Bigfoot is going to receive multiple detentions, you can just click the box again, and he's now been issued a 2nd detention. We'll go ahead and change this one to the next week so that you can see that later. These reports are all fairly self-explanatory, and I believe that does it for how to use the Tardy program. Thank you.